Hi, everyone. Today we're going to learn about DNA, the histories of DNA, the structure and functions of DNA. So that topic is going to be in chapter 16 in your review book. So I hope you're going to do homework assignment in chapter 16 and you can get credit for that. Okay? So let's start. So what is DNA? Well, let's take a look at DNA is a molecule that codes information for all the instruction for life, carries genetic material. As scientists call DNA a blueprint of life. But there are different types of DNA. When you take a look at bacteria has DNA, and then they also have circulation DNA. Bacteria DNA is not surrounded by membrane, nuclear membrane. Viruses also have DNA. Some of the viruses have RNA, DNA and RNA. And you are all familiar with nuclear DNA, and you know that in your cell, inside the nucleus, DNA is located. So most of you are familiar with the nucleus DNA, but apart from the nucleus DNA, all of your body cell has mitochondrial DNA, and plants also have chloroplast DNA apart from the nucleus DNA. So scientists call DNA the blueprint of life. Well, what is blueprint? Well, blueprint means pattern or plan of building. If you are architecture, if you're going to build a building, then you need this blueprint or the scheme of the building, where the kitchens are, how many stories you're going to build, where the plumbing, that's called blueprint. Same thing. The DNA has a blueprint that contains instruction needed for all organisms to develop, to survive, and to reproduce. So DNA tells all the life functions in living organisms. So when you take a look at this picture, DNA has coded information. That coded information is called gene. A piece of DNA or segments of DNA or portions of DNA is called gene. So gene has coded information for protein. Proteins give a trait, different characteristics of the trait. When you take a look at, some people has attached ear and unattached ear. That is determined by the genes in your body. The gene create protein, that's why you're a trait. Same thing with your eye. So the DNA tells what type of eye colors you have, how tall you're going to be, your skin color. All these are determined by DNA. Okay, so where is DNA located? Well, DNA is located inside nucleus. So let's zoom in your cell, skin cell. And this is skin cell under microscope with stain. Okay, we're going to focus the epidermis cell, the skin, and this is the hair root. And inside, if you zoom in the skin cell, you will see the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, DNA is tightly coiled like spaghetti. And you will see that, okay? And this tightly coiled DNA become chromosome. And you all know that human body, each cell of human body have 46 chromosomes. Now, scientists said, okay, if you take out one DNA from one human cell, each cell, it will be like 6 feet tall or like 2 meters high. You can imagine that our body is made up of billions and billions and billions of cells, like trillions of cells. If you take out all the DNA from each cell of the body and you link together, you could go to the sun and the earth. You can come back and forth how many times? 300 times. That's unimaginable. Okay? And some say if you go to the moon and the Earth come back 6,000 times. Who knows? Okay, so this is the structure of DNA molecule. You see the cell, inside the cell nucleus, and inside the DNA, they're tightly quiet, and chromosome. That's the relationship between DNA, chromosome, and gene. So gene is piece of DNA, a segment of DNA. And okay, so let's take a look at before 1869, nobody knew about DNA. The first person, Frederick Menschers from Switzerland, biochemist, he found out, he identified nuclein, kind of like a nucleic acid, but he didn't know it's a DNA. And in 1944, Oswald Avery identified DNA as a transforming principle. Well, he looked at the bacteria and then said, well, proteins are not the transforming principle. Proteins are not the property of the organism, but something else. So he didn't identify DNA, but he discovered transforming principle. In 1950, Lwin DNA found that DNA has specific base pair, adenine, pairs with same amount of thymine, and guanine pair with same amount of cytosine. But until 1952, Rosalind Franklin, she took a photograph of crystallized DNA fiber, but she could not explain clearly. She should have been awarded Nobel Prize. But in 1953, James Watson and Francis, they look at the previous research, Lwin Chagrin, Oswald, and Rosalind Franklin, and they discovered that they figure out the model of the DNA. The DNA has a double helix structure. So the double means two, helix means spiral-shaped structure. So DNA has double helix structure made of two, parallel strand. And this is like a twisted ladder or helix or spiral shape. So that's a spiral shape. DNA, so if you untwist the DNA, it will be like a ladder. The side of the ladder we call is legs of the ladder. The legs of the ladders are made of phosphate and sugar backbone. Okay, deoxyribonucleic sugar. And the steps, okay, the rounds are made of base pair, nitrogenous base, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. So those are the structure of the DNA, double helix. Take a look at DNA. Okay, this is the phosphate, and then sugar phosphate, and then sugar, deoxyribonucleic sugar, 5-carbon sugar, and phosphate group, and then nitrogenous base. So let's take a look at this is the double helix structure. Now DNA is made of, as I told you at the beginning, polymer. Poly means many, ma means molecule. So DNA is made of polymer. Those molecules are called nucleotide. They are building blocks of the DNA. Okay, so these nucleotide, each nucleotide contains phosphate group, P, and 5-carbon sugar, and nitrogenous base, adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. Okay, those are the nucleotide. Now, each nitrogenous base, when you take a look at this, two groups, purine group has adenine and guanine. It has a two ring. Pyrimidine has thymine, and cytosine that has one ring. So adenine pair with thymine, guanine pair with cytosine. Lwin Chagrin discovered the DNA base pair has specific base pair, specific amount. So same amount of adenine percentage pair with same amount of thymine and same amount of guanine pair with same amount of cytosine. That's the Chagras rule. So, and I hope today you learn about the structure and functions of DNA, and I want you to review. You can pause and play back, and I'm going to give you assignment on Google Classroom, and you can take your time and work on. Have a nice day. Please stay safe.